Hi there. Welcome to World Plone Day 2025. My name is Steve Piercy. I'm in Eugene, Oregon, in the US. Um, I am an independent contractor. And little known fact about me is that I earn zero income from playing around with Plone. All of my clients use a legacy language that provides my sole source of income. It's not COBOL, but it's also dead. And um, I basically hang out with Plone because the community is awesome. I learn new things all the time, and it keeps me in practice. It keeps me competitive, and I can transfer the knowledge that I get, such as deployments and other things, from the Plone community to my work in real life. And then, as far as my first experience with Python and Plone, it was when I realized that my language was dying about 15 years ago. I went to my first Plone Conf and met the
Oh,
Pyramid Web Framework folks and fell in love with it. And then they had a Plone conference in San Francisco the ensuing year, and it was the greatest party ever. So
okay.
if you've never gone to a Plone Conf, go to one. The parties, the people, the um, the experience is just amazing. And then joining me is Ujjwal, who I'll let him introduce himself.
So, hello everyone. First of all, happy Plone Day 2025. I'm Ujjwal Kala from India. I'm a second year undergraduate student from Triple ID Bhubaneswar, and it's compared to what Steve has contributed, I'm just a newborn baby. I'm 2 months into this Plone saga. I've just started contributing, and yeah, I'm enjoying it so far.
All right. Um, Also, for folks, we'd like you to follow social media. Follow Plone on social media. It's at Plone on the major ones, including Mastodon. We also have some hashtags for you to follow, and make comments on there if you see things from us, from the Plone community. It makes us happy to see you respond to us. So with that, let's hide that. And we'll cover what we'll be covering today. We're going to cover the technology stack in our presentation. The presentation is called Triple D, Documentation Driven Development. We're going to talk about what that is. We'll cover the technology stack. Um, we'll have a demo of project generation so that you can actually apply it into a new project. Then we'll demonstrate features of Plone Sphinx theme, which is, we'll cover that later. We'll talk about diataxis for a little bit for documentation authors, like how to organize your documentation, because that's kind of a hard thing to figure out on your own. Then we'll publish the repository that we create from our project to GitHub. And finally, we'll publish our documentation to read the docs, and you'll be able to view it in real time. And we'll do a little pull request so that you can see how pull request previews actually work on read the docs. So this is going to be a fun packed talk, and I hope you hang out for the end. And I'm really excited to get going on this. So let's get started. First of all, documentation driven development. It's also called, you may have heard other terms such as behavior driven development or acceptance test driven development. And they're similar in the terms are similar, and they have basically the same thing. In documentation driven development, it defines the software before writing any code uh, as stories. So user stories. And you also get feedback from your stakeholders, including developers, the clients, and anyone who may be involved with using or developing the software. Um, when you're creating the documentation for your development, it can be anything from design documents, whiteboards, outlines, workflows, um, and any other collaborative documents. Like some people use Trello or whatever share collaborative tool that they happen to use. And Triple D also complements test-driven development. So usually the testing-driven development is a part of that. But if you're designing something for developers only, then it's usually one and the same. So the next thing that we're going to talk about is, well, actually, do you have any comments on that part, Ujjwal? Oh, your mic's got silenced here. Let's unmute you.
Yeah. As we have talked about in the past, Plone really believes in the idea of whatever is not documented is already broken. If I'm stealing that line of yours, but I do agree with it, and especially in a old repository like Plone, which has so many components which date back to 2 decades, we need something to guide us through. So we need to keep documenting stuff along the way.
Yeah. In addition to that tenet, we also say if it ain't tested, it's broken.
Mhm.
So, yeah, it's very important to have your documentation ready. And I firmly believe that, when I start writing code, I already have a structure and an outline of what I'm going to be doing before I write a single line of code.
Yeah.
Um, and whereas most people just, oh, I'll just start hacking away. It's like, maybe
Like
you
the
should think
typing out,
about what you're going to do before you do something.
exactly, like the typing out part should be the last of it.
Yeah, yeah. Um, so let's talk a little bit about our technology stack. Let's get this screen shared. Um, and first of all, what is Cookie Cutter? And Cookie Cutter is a project generator from project templates. And they call these project templates cookie cutters. So, cookie cutter, the project plus cookie cutter templates is uh, how you can generate your cookie cutter is the software, and then the templates are the things from which you generate your project. Um, the next one in the stack is Cookie Plone. And Cookie Plone is a wrapper around Cookie Cutter, and it's an umbrella that then executes the Cookie Clone templates. And
Mhm.
Cookie Clone templates are the things that define the structure. Oh, somebody had we had a pull request. They define the structure of your project that will be generated specifically for Plone.
No.
Um, And then the last one is we created a specific template called Documentation Starter. And this one basically will create a scaffold of documentation that you can then use as a basis for your documentation driven development. And it has a lot of features. We'll get into that later. But you know, Ujjwal, why do you? I'm one thing I'm really amazed is like you picked up this project as one of the first things that you dove into for Plone, and why do you think it was needed?
I think I was first of all, my ignorance really acted as a bliss for me. I think I didn't really know how deep Plone could get in the start,
Hmm.
but after the first two pull requests getting merged, and I had a bit of idea about Plone.api, but the core Plone was still so far away from my grasp. So I was looking through cookie Plone templates for issues, and
Hmm.
that's when it hit me. That's when I saw the issue that you created. So you had some story about that, I guess.
Oh yeah, so it was actually 1 year ago at the previous World Plone Day 2024, which was I was at the Axolotl Sprint in Mexico City with Erico and a bunch of folks there. And Erico came up to me and said, "Steve, we need a new cookie clone template for cookie clone, and it needs to be documentation." And I'm like, "Okay, let's create an issue. I'll get right on that." And it kind of sat around for 10 months, and then you came along, and I'm like, "Oh my god, somebody's actually doing something." I looked at it and said, "Oh my gosh, this is going to be a lot of work." And yes, it was a lot of work.
Yeah, it took time. It took its fair share. But
Yeah,
yes, mostly it was easy. I'd say it looked hard on the from the outside, but it was pretty easy. Yeah,
yeah. And I was apprehensive to dive in, but when I saw you had the courage to dive in and to say YOLO.
yeah.
Yeah, I just
I
said,
think
all right, all right, we're gonna see this through.
I
um
think we should give the fair credit to Cookie Cutter and Cookie Clone technologies as well, because they let themselves be extensible. If there was no way to extend them,
that's a
one
really
could
good
all.
point. Yeah, in fact, if people there's another template, actually two templates that are actually under development. One is to add classic UI as an explicit backend template. um, we already have a backend template. I'm not sure exactly what they're doing with classic UI, but we'll
Mhm.
see what comes out. And then adding support for GitLab as a second Git service provider.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's people are just adding templates all the time, um, and it should Cookie Clone itself will probably eat the lunch and totally replace build out pip. And yeah, plus it uses the latest technology so that you don't have to keep changing your tool set. So
Yeah.
we've already got it designed to use UV instead of pip, and to manage our dependencies. It's really slick.
Yeah. And we can see the speediness of UV coming into use. We'll show that in the demo. But
Yeah,
yeah, Cookstone is what you'll call sparing. It's at the forefront of Plone right now.
right, right. Um, and there is one last thing I wanted to mention. I kind of skipped over this, but I do have links to all the topics that we're going to be discussing and some reference material that will be shared in the description down below while you're viewing this. So if you wanted to follow along with us while viewing this video, you're welcome to do that. Okay, so with that, why don't we remove me and jump right into the demo. Um,
Okay. So as we talked about that, we have completely replaced pip now from cookie clone. So the first command to get our clone project started would be uvx cookie clone, and yeah, that should land us. And there it is, our clone logo and four options. Um, we'll go with a basic full stack clone project that would include Volto and the backend. Uh, so we'll go with that. It asks me if, yeah, we'll let it re-download. So for the project title, let's go with Fluffy. We've had this theme over, and for the rest, we can go with the defaults. Yeah.
can you increase your font, please?
Oh,
There we go.
yes. Yeah. So we'll go with the defaults for the remaining of the options. And yeah, go to Fluffy. We can have our languages over here. Um, Again, the GitHub GitLab username. So we are extending this soon to GitLab. Uh, and we have a few other options. One about persistent storage as well. Again, we'll go with the default one for now. And yeah, finally, the last one. which we are showcasing today, the documentation scaffold, and we'll go yes. And that's about it. That's all there was needed to be done, and we have a new project named Fluffy. So let's go into Fluffy. We'll start. Uh, what you call okay. So before making up the project, let's look into the docs. So docs have already come shipped with it. So this should just work. So even before we have written any code, we are on with some documentation, and I think that's the way to go.
Yeah.
And we can have this great live service setup. So, for example, if we go here, okay, this should be too confusing. Yes, yes, this should be better. But if we go out here and edit, so let's edit the index page, and we say welcome to the documentation, hello, and welcome to our presentation, and that will automatically regenerate here,
Can you
which
increase
is
the font? There we go. Woo!
yeah. So we have all the benefits of Plone Sphinx theme here too, and we can discuss it over. I think Steve will do a better job at that.
Yeah, I'll go.
But yeah, this is this simple. It's that simple to get it done.
I mean, okay, so you did one command to generate
Yeah,
the project and went through all these prompts.
yeah,
And you got hit the enter key to accept all the defaults except for naming the project, which that was
yes,
fine. And then you just CD'd into the directory and issued
yeah,
one other command to build these docs, and you're already rocking and rolling.
yeah. And we can also get the front end and back end to work with already. So
Hmm.
just all one package. Uh, the working front end, the working back end, and editable documentation. Yeah,
Why don't you get those started, and and we can have a discussion while that's running. Um,
yeah. Let's.
so yeah, yeah. Go ahead and keep doing that, and I'll just narrate a bit. So what UJ is doing is he's
We'll get
built
the front end and back end built for now.
right,
So we'll make commands.
and they're in two separate terminal sessions, just to because you have to have one open for each back end
Yeah,
and front end.
and then install it.
Yeah.
And the front end one takes a bit of time, I guess. Volto and React overall are a bit heavy. So
Yeah, yeah. Plus, I made a mistake about including video files in the repository, which I should remove because you're now downloading videos instead of code. So we'll get rid of
and
that.
our backend is already done. We can access our Volto website. So
Oh,
um,
okay. Let's
yeah,
take a look. Well, this will be the Plone's website,
yeah, the
but
classic UI.
using the classic UI user interface.
And here we have it, project title, and we can just visit it.
Yeah.
So
Reload.
we'll, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yeah. Some of the style sheet didn't load. So do a force reload in the browser to get rid of some cache, maybe.
Yeah. And, okay. Oops. They should.
Well, you're in the install multi folder reinstall. Huh. Oh, are you doing you have to do is it one two I'm not sure if it's 127 or 0000 or localhost. I always get that messed up. So yeah, there's the unstyled clone site.
Let's try localhost. I think they're the same thing.
Yeah.
Whoa, let's go.
There we go.
A bit of a hiccup, but we've got there. Yeah. But yeah, so we have our clone backend already running. The front end takes a bit time to install, but it's simple commands and everything can be documented while we code, while we change stuff.
Yeah, so like you already have your this project generated has created both a Plone backend add-on environment and a front-end add-on environment. So from
Uh-huh.
here, you could, after you've documented what you're going to do, you can actually start writing code for your add-on and
Yeah.
extend on the Plone core code and in either the backend or the front end. And that's just amazing. Um, Oh, let me ask you a couple of questions. Like you said you started with Plone just like 2 months ago. Is that right?
Yes. So I was aiming for Google Summer of Code this year, and I had planned to start back in December or November, but just I just got busy, and I started in, I think so, yeah. So I started in February, and I didn't aim for GSOC then. So I was like, I'm not going to get selected. People are already doing far better than me, and I was just wanting some open source contribution. uh, Also, in regards to why I selected Plone to contribute to is because I've already worked with content management systems in the past. So I was like, okay, Python, I've worked with that. Content management systems, I've worked with that. Let's dive into it.
Yeah.
But the sea of Plone and Zope, really, it's intriguing. So the 2 months really passed in a flash in terms of work. I just loved it. So I decided to keep contributing.
Yeah, yeah. And so how would you describe, I noticed that you also contributed to Plone.api, which is provides an interface to the Plone backend directly through
Yeah.
Python code. How would you describe your experience contributing to Plone?
I think it was just so pleasant. I think everybody's friendly, everybody's respectful. Of course, you need to have some sort of respect towards the existing maintainers, towards the experienced members of the community. So uh, I acted up in with regards to what happens usually in open source communities. Plone is even friendlier, and I remember my first pull request on GitHub. It had so many nice comments about thank you for getting this started, and I just felt as if actually I had done some really nice contribution to it, but it was just a small fix. So I think in that way, I really found the community welcoming, and of course, Python is easy. I really like the code base, so I just kept contributing.
Yeah. Is there anything that like stood out as like what you learned from your process of contributing to Plone?
I think uh, one thing that Plone is really different with regards to other is that Plone is massive and there are multiple ways to do one thing. So even if you want to access a simple vocabulary, there are so many ways to do it. So there's always this caution of what way are you choosing, because there's permissions and then there's ZOP and then there's the uh, acquisition library coming into play. So there's so much happening.
Interfaces,
Yeah,
behaviors,
interfaces. Yes. So everything just at each step you got a question that what am I making the right decision here? Uh, am I writing the right code? And I think the already existing code really guides you through it. So for me, that was a guiding light. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Do you have like suggestions for other first-time contributors when they would dive into open source software?
I think the only suggestion would be to contribute towards something that you really like. So, if not Plone, I would be going for NeoVim because I personally use NeoVim. But I think even for Plone, I just like the way it is written, and I could just I remember in my first pull request, everybody coming down and reviewing each letter of it. So even a full stop would need a, I think you had suggested me so many of those grammatical mistakes, and that really helps to grow as a person even. So in other phases of life, it helps.
Yeah,
So I say be passionate about what you're coding. Yeah.
yeah, I think that's something that a lot of people sell themselves short. If they don't speak English as their first language or write English as their first language, they are afraid of writing documentation
Mhm.
because they can't. But to be honest, I'm really, when I ask people to contribute to documentation, I just say, I don't care what language you write it in, just publish.
Mhm.
We can use translation tools later.
Mhm.
It's okay.
Yeah.
And, if you have just like little notes, like technical notes, step by
Yeah.
step, issue this command, go to that terminal session, that's great. It's more than what we have. And, you know, I, I just happen to love writing, and so I am really grateful to get somebody who provides technical knowledge and shares that that
Mhm.
we incorporate into Plone.
True.
So, yeah, yeah. Um, and what kind of suggestion would you make to the old timers if you could have your wish?
I don't really have, especially for people here at Plone. I'm amazed at what work they have done. So like, even for a small pull request, they know exactly what it needs, and I just don't have an answer to. I There was one time I think David Glick, I think that's his name.
Yeah.
So I might be pronouncing it wrong. I'm sorry for that. So David made this. I think on the cookie clone templates for the documentation starter PR, he made one of these comments that took me around 3 to 4 days to at least grasp by implementing it and actually finding it out. Oh, that's the problem, and he suggested it. 2 or 3 days before. So I think in that regards, I have no advice for them. There is no technical way I could get them to improve. Yeah,
Yeah, well,
I can't.
we don't walk on water yet. Well, let's check. It looks like in the background, you're,
Yes,
we
we've
have
made
our
like
Plum front end ready to go. So let's take a look.
we have the front end ready to start, and yes, the webpack will compile it. Uh,
Oh, it's so exciting! I can't wait.
hoo, hoo, hoo. Mm.
Do 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 do.
It should be the front end takes a bit of time.
Yeah,
We got to be honest about that.
yeah. It looks like it's also pulling down some dependencies and then
Yeah,
building it and installing it.
and I think we'll be done about. Yes, we are done.
All right.
Okay, webpack. Can we get the URL, please? Okay, just about there. We were waiting. Let's
There we
go. We have it. Um, so we had classic UI already, and I think we have the Volto ready. Okay, configuration problem on the backend. Okay, the backend is responsible. Request database conflict error. I think it's a one-time thing. Let me just get that.
just kick it. Woo! Look at that.
We have it. Perfect.
Nice.
Uh,
Go ahead and yeah, log
there we
in.
have it. And it took us, apart from the building time, I think it took us 3 to 4 minutes.
Yeah,
And with the build time included, around 10 minutes, 15 minutes. We were talking a lot. So,
yeah. Well, we were managing our time.
yeah, we were diverting the attention. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is really awesome. And now you have like here you can actually do development. You can test things in real time. We have hot module reloading, when you're developing your front end uh, add-on. Oh, look at that.
The So these are the add-ons. Yeah,
Yeah, you can install Fluffy.
Fluffy is already installed. So package to configure Fluffy site.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's
it's
what we
already
have.
installed in your Plone site. So holy cow, it's ready to, you are ready to develop.
Yes.
Um, so I think like let's have me switch over. I'm going to switch over and share my screen now.
Sure.
Um, so I'll walk through a few uh, features of Plone Sphinx theme. Excuse me, of the theme and the whole documentation stack itself. So let's go through
Mhm.
that. So first of all, this here is the documentation that's had hot module reloading. I have it running on my machine, and I'll just walk through some of the typical features that come with Sphinx. There's a search feature. So let's say I want to find an add-on. Oh, I forgot to restart it. Hold on. There we go. And try again. There we go. And then it found an add-on with some context. And oh, look at that. Jumped me right to it.
Yeah.
It Sphinx also offers very really cool features, including a glossary, which you can define terms and automatically sort them, and an index. So these things you get for free when you use Sphinx. Um, on
Yeah.
top on top of that, we use some Plone Sphinx theme features, and Plone Sphinx theme itself is a Python package that we use to theme all of the Plone projects and packages.
Mhm.
Um, and right now we have, I don't know, about a half dozen sites that are using it, and actually more are coming on. And the
Yeah.
reason we do this is because um, it provides a single Python package that you can install easily um, with a Sphinx theme designed specifically for Plone projects. So if this was an official Plone project, we'd have a nice uh, Plone logo and a Plone fav icon already there. But because this isn't an official Plone project, it's our own personal add-on right now. So we just said, all right, well, let's not confuse it with Plone. Um, and the other important thing is that with Plone Sphinx theme, we can build our own custom CSS and JavaScript, which gets included in that Python package. Previously, we
Oh.
would have to copy and paste all of those things to all of our projects. Now it's in a Python package. Um, so a couple of things. Let's go back to the Fluffy homepage. We have some really nice um, features that come with Plone Sphinx theme.
We just
And
saw the tooltip there.
what's that?
The tooltip.
Yeah. So let's go. I'll go down through my list here. So first of all, we have mobile first. So as we turn it into a mobile layout, it has breakpoints that will show and hide various features. So we can show our navigation over here. If we go to like how-to guides, we'll also get an in-page secondary nav bar. And when we click that stuff, it'll scroll to that section. That's kind of cool. Um, and if I resize the font, you'll also see some other things. Like that's typically what people will see, but that makes it not readable. But let's say if I were to scroll to the authors, let's make it a little bit shorter. You can see how this works. Has a nice little scroll feature. Yeah, so it's really, really cool to have that um, mobile first feature. It has automatic light and dark mode. So you can toggle between. It has its responsive layout. We can collapse navigation. That's probably going to go away because that's something that only is provided from a parent theme. I did not actually design this theme 100%. To be honest, it's been designed by the PyData Sphinx theme folks, which have a lot more people in the NumPy community and PyData community who are developing this. So I hitched our wagon to them. And then beneath in addition, so from PyData Sphinx theme, Sphinx book theme inherits from them, and then I inherit from Plone Sphinx theme. We inherit from that theme. So there's a grandparent, a parent, and then Plone Sphinx theme at the bottom of the chain. We're gonna cut out Sphinx book theme in the stack in future pull request. And let's see. Oh, other features. You have full screen. That's kind of nice. Let's exit. We have downloads. So if you wanted to download a PDF, there we go. You can get a preview of it, or just view the markdown file, and you can see, oh, wait, this is markedly structured text. So miss syntax turns into this see also admonition. That's pretty cool. We have GitHub links. So you can go to the repository, suggest an edit, or open an issue. There's our collective fluffy repo and open issues. And then lastly, we have a whole bunch of extensions that come with this. There's a link here to go there. I won't go through all of the extensions, but we have comprehensive stuff. There's MIST support. We saw one of the nice things that we get is Linkify, so you don't have to do this bracket parenthesis stuff for naked URLs. You just drop the URL and it becomes a link automatically. Our Sphinx extensions include things like Sphinx Tippy, which we saw on the home page, where it provides a tooltip. Not for external links, though. But you can see this is kind of cool, so that you don't have to actually click the link to go see it. And we have a whole bunch of other extensions. I won't go through all of them because there's quite a lot. But there's stuff like you can generate a sitemap for search engine optimization. Also, there's an open graph stuff so that you can, where's that open graph? I lost it. It's somewhere in here. Anyway, that also, there it is. It helps you, also it contributes to SEO. So, if you wanted to help sell your product when you create it, documentation is one of the best marketing tools for your product, because this is how you engage people into, like, developers and end users into your product. So having that documentation written before you write code is another reason to do documentation driven development. So that's just a quick overview of the features that come with this out of the box. But I do want to also say, how do we help people now to write documentation? And one of the things that we use is diataxis. Diataxis is it's just a way that divides documentation into these 4 quadrants along 2 different axes. And the top 2 items are things like, I just want to get some work done. So I want to learn, I want to walk through a tutorial. A tutorial is kind of like a cooking recipe. So if you're going to, I want to bake cookies, great. We'll go through the recipe, go step by step, and at the end, you'll have a batch of delicious chocolate chip cookies. You will not become a pastry chef, but at least
That,
you'll have like the experience, and that will help you gain understanding and in your learning. How-to guides are more like how do you perform a specific task in in what you in for what you want to accomplish. Reference is more just like information. You look stuff up in a dictionary, you get the term, and you get its definition. This is for APIs, maybe configuration variables, API endpoints. Plone actually already has a lot of that in its reference material. And then the fourth quadrant is understanding and explanation. These are things like design defense, why you made the decisions that you did. And these are things that you can, have a glass of wine or your favorite beer or beverage and just sit back, read for about 10 or 15 minutes and absorb that knowledge. And currently, we have that structure already laid out for you. And with reference materials to each of these things. So you can get more information about what the diataxis framework is all about. I know that's like a fire hose of information, but UJ, do you have any comments any thoughts that you have there?
no, I think it's going perfect. But yeah, documentation should be structured. You had some, I think you had some references. I think Mozilla and Python team have started to integrate that into the
Oh,
documentation.
yes. Yeah, thanks for the reminder. Yeah, so the diataxis framework comes from somebody who works for Canonical, which creates the operating system Ubuntu, among
Oh,
other things. And it's diataxis is based on solid research. It's the framework itself has been adopted by Python and hundreds of other companies and organizations, including Plone. And we're not quite there yet with our own documentation, but it is a goal. The historically Plone would just say, hey, here's this topic like front end, back end, Volto, classic UI, and people like, what am I supposed to do? I just want to install the thing. So we have started to work on that on our own Plone 6 documentation, and we'll get there. So I think what I want to do next is to actually go through what we would need to do to publish our work now, and share it onto a repository. And this already came pre-configured. So, what I'll be doing is going step by step to actually get this hooked up. So let's do git status. Oh, I should mention this is in the root of the README of our the
I
cookie.
think we should get our faces a bit away because I can't see where the command is being entered.
Okay, let's get our faces out of here.
Yeah.
Let's go to this one. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
And maybe a little bit bigger, huh?
That would make sense.
Yeah. That's better. Okay,
Yeah.
so I did git status, and it says I have all these files here. The next one, we've already done our first commit. We're not going to, and I already had pushed this to make sure it actually works. But what we need to do is add a remote. So we'll do that right now. Git remote add origin. Git branch and main. Do a git pull just to make sure. There we go. probably want to say, uh, yeah, we want to do this.
We can push. So I think the issue is we have already established a repo in GitHub. So
Yeah,
that's why it's having a tracking issue. But following uh, the commands there would do the work.
yeah. So just do this one or do a git push. I expect
Okay.
that a git push will reject it, but yeah, let's do set the upstream. That's just
Uh-huh.
and let's get that.
Mm,
Oh, all right. Now let's do that. What did I do? I did,
git push.
yeah, git push.
Oh no, git set track origin.
There we go. Forgot to do that.
Yeah.
Let's set that. Uh, let's do a git pull.
Ah, bit of a git hiccup there,
Yeah.
but
Um,
we'll get through it. There's no problem.
I'm going to I'm going to do some magic in PyCharm because I'm more comfortable using this.
Oh yeah.
Check out drop local commits. Now we'll do git pull. Oops, fluffy.
And
Let's get the right location. Git pull. There we go. Now I should be git status. Yeah, perfect.
yeah.
So anyway, because we already had set up the remote repository, that's why we had some funkiness with this. But if you do follow the documentation, it
Mm.
should just work. If not, please let us know, and we'll update the documentation. And if you want to have your first time contributor thing, this is a good way to get going.
Yeah.
And with that, we should have our remote repository, the remote repo populated with our project. So let's take a look. Ta-da! We have Fluffy underneath
Yes.
collective, and it has a beautiful README, and it has all this great information, and it has how to get started. And oh wow, you can share this with everybody. So now you have developers ready to dive in and use your add-on. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, so good stuff. Um, the last so that's with GitHub. Let's do our next thing. We've also configured read the docs for previews, PR previews, and docs deployment.
Hmm.
And the root of the README, let me go back there. Let's close this guy and go back to our README. We do have documentation of how to do that. And we won't go through it entirely because it can vary for a lot of reasons. One, your project might have a different name. You might be using GitLab. But basically, this project generated comes pre-configured, ready to rock and roll with read the docs. So if we go there, the important things are to after you've created your account and added your documentation project is to get this slug. This is what you'll need to grab to find and replace in your documentation. You'll also need to make sure that the path for your read the docs YAML is correct. It should be okay right out of the start. And then make sure you check this box for building pull requests on your project. So um, with that, let's take a look. This is what we actually have. I'm going to reload. This is like the real public documentation right now of our Fluffy project. And
Wow.
if, yeah. So
Yeah.
if you wanted to actually go and like, let's go over here to GitHub. Come on, there we go. I want to suggest an edit on the index file, right? Let's go over there and just say
Yeah.
to World
Plone
Plone
Day.
Day. Come on. Come on, keyboard. Hello. Hello.
Whoa.
What happened? Oh, there it goes.
2025.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I'm going to do this. Yeah, it's really slow. Oh, hold on. I bet you that Backblaze is doing a backup. No, maybe Time Machine is doing a backup. Hold on a sec.
Whoa.
Stop. There we go. Um, I want to make
Yeah.
sure I want to make a pull request. So,
So someone who's not an owner would not get the commit changes
right.
option. It would get, yeah, they would get the pull request option only.
Yeah, yeah. Most people would not be able to do this, but use whatever works for you. Okay, so we'll propose changes, uh, and we'll create the pull request, and we'll wait. Fingers crossed. Will it update the
Wow.
description? Oh shoot, it's not updating the description.
Okay.
Yeah, by now it would have had to like. So shoot, we have a bug. We're gonna fix it. What I
It's
expected
not
to
putting
do.
in the link. Okay. Maybe
Yeah.
you'll have to reload. Uh, not sure.
Um. Yeah. I mean, I know what we can do to, because I'm an owner. But anyway, what you should expect to see is a link to the pull request preview show up. I don't know why that didn't happen, but we'll research it and get it fixed up. But what you can do from your admin interface, if you happen to have that, is go to your builds, and you can see
Mhm.
the first pull request here, and then you can go and view the docs for it.
And
And there we see,
perfect. We are welcome.
yeah. So
Yeah.
that's a
Oh,
really helpful tool for, getting developers to review your documentation. Plus, I gotta
mhm.
say this, there is like, I wonder if this will actually work. There is a way of, in the settings, they have I mean, the stuff they're doing is amazing. They have these add-ons here where you can like, it has a flyout menu, search, what else? Don't care about that. Visual diff. And I wonder if we can see that. Link previews. You can also have that. Let's enable that. Hotkeys. Yeah, so that you can do some other things. But let's save that. And that'll start a new build, I believe. No, let's do this. And then check.
Maybe it was already enabled.
Yeah. One thing. Oh, there's our tippies. There should have been. Oh, there we go. Here it is. Show
Showed
diff.
it. Yeah.
Look at that.
Perfect.
See, it highlights the changes that you made, and you can navigate through them like a usual user interface thing. Isn't that cool? So, yeah, you should be using Read the Docs for this stuff.
Yeah.
um, golly, I think so. That's pretty much everything else. I just wanted to go over a few things like what is next. Um, we do have an open pull request plus that bug that I found. We do have an open pull request for um, adding GitLab support in the documentation starter template. And we have somebody who's very interested in working on that, and it
Okay.
should be coming soon. So all you GitLab users, we love you. Um,
Yeah.
now, like I wanted to also challenge people that now that we have all this infrastructure set up for your project to get going, I'm really interested to see um, you know who's going to write code for who's going to be the first to create an add-on with documentation. And as let's just say it's just a trivial hello world add-on. Maybe it changes the color or the font size or something like that. But
Mhm.
um, who's going to do it first? The people on the front end or the people on the back end? I want to see who's going to do come through first.
Yep.
And it and if whoever comes up with the first one, I'll bake a dozen cookies and bring them
Mhm.
to PlumConf for to share. Um,
Wow.
yeah. So
That's
I think that pretty much covers what we wanted to present. UJ, do you have any like closing remarks?
what side do I come in? Am I a back end person or a front end person for the challenge? But I think it would be unfair. But yeah, we can have few more plans with the documentation starter. I We had a discussion with Armin, and we can have something like an injection going on. So for existing projects, we could make new documentation for that, which would follow our new Plone Sphinx theme. That
That's a
could be
really
something.
good point. For existing projects that have used Cookie Clone in the past, um, you can just run Cookie Clone, create the
Mhm.
project template, and then just copy your files over into the new locations, and it should
Yeah,
just work.
yeah.
And now you have a documentation scaffold ready to go. It's better late than never.
And we also have an option to just create documentation. So
Yeah.
in the listings we had just so we can do that as well. So
Yeah, you don't even have to use Plone to use the
yeah,
documentation. It's like,
so
you like this
not
scaffold?
yeah,
Go to town. Yeah, just
yeah.
delete the back end and the front end. We don't need no code. We just need documentation. Um, yeah, you can actually create your own blog out of this if you wanted to. Just publish it to read the docs. Now you have a blog.
And
So I just want to say, in closing here, there should be links in the description of the YouTube video down below, and our contact information as well. It should be in the description of the video. And again, thank you everybody for watching this presentation. I'm really excited about where we're headed with Plone and how we're having new people come in. I feel like we have a future. We're not just a bunch of old timers passing on.
yeah.
And this is really exciting. Um, Remember to follow Plone on social media and to follow our hashtags. And with that, thanks very much, EJ. It's been a pleasure working with you, and I wish you the best of luck in your GSOC endeavors and in your future career. Thanks so much for collaborating with me.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Steve, for inviting me onto here. And I'll see you around. I'll
All
see you
right,
around. Yeah.
we'll see you around. Thank you again.